It's major pain, baby. Know I'm talking about. Alright, let me get serious. It's Cooper. I come through and show them how to do it. This shit live. Boy, you the truth.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I am your host, Michael, aka Major Pain, and you are watching my Let's Plat Strider series. And yesterday I mentioned this in one of my videos, and I think today I'm going to do it. Well, I kind of have to do it today because the revealing of the top 10 NFL players of 2013 is airing tonight. So to get my predictions in, I would have to do it today, or else it wouldn't be really a prediction, as it just kind of aired and spoilers given. Anyways, if you came to this video expecting a video game geek chat, sorry. Check out the next video. That one will have plenty of geek talk, but this one I would hope you wouldn't click on it because the title is going to be referred to a football theme. So today I want to talk about this, but before that, I want to mention that I am a football fan, and to mix it in with my geekiness, I do play a lot of fantasy football. I usually have about 3 or 4 teams that I manage, and it is my geeky side of football. But I really do enjoy football. Fantasy football just helps me connect to other teams rather than just following my team, and allows me to stay relevant into the NFL throughout the NFL season. So to progress now into my predictions for the top 10 NFL players of 2013, as the usual way it goes, you announce from 10, 9, 8 all the way up to 1. So I will follow that fashion, and my 10th top 10 NFL players, where 10 will be Jamal Charles. Now, Jamal Charles was very slow at the beginning of the season. He was productive. He just wasn't as productive as many were expecting him to be. The Chiefs pretty much went a straight 9-0 throughout the season due to their defense. Their defense had a spectacular beginning of the year, and then Jamal Charles kind of picked it up at the end of the year. I believe he had 2 games where he scored at least 3 touchdowns, which is pretty impressive, considering that most running backs don't score more than 2 touchdowns a game, and it's very rare to see actually 2 touchdowns. You have to be a pretty high up running back to see something like that, and that's why Jamal Charles is on the top 10, because he was able to run quite a bit of touchdowns per game. This season it was kind of low for him, so touchdown per game wise, but at the end of the season, like I said, he picked up in the last 7 games, I think he was averaging a little over 2 touchdowns per game. So my number 9, and I'm not too happy about this because I am not a fan of this guy, but Richard Sherman. He does have quite a bit of skill to him. He is a very good player. I just don't like how much he runs his mouth. There's ways to do it and there's ways not to do it, and Sherman is the way not to do it. And it's sad that I have to claim him as a top 10 when Earl Thomas, their other shutout corner or safety, I believe he is a lot better than Richard Sherman. I think Earl Thomas works harder. I think Earl Thomas is just a better shutdown safety than Richard Sherman is, and I think the only reason why Richard Sherman is in the top 10 is because of his mouth, and it's sad to say that can get you in a higher placement than another player. My number Tom Brady. And usually Tom Brady's up higher on this list. Being a Colts fan, Tom Brady it's really tough for me to say Tom Brady's a good quarterback, but you can't really deny it. Tom Brady was able to carry next to nothing team all the way to the AFC Championship. And by next to nothing team, I mean he had like his receiving core was just awful. He had to play without his best catcher, which is Rob Gronkowski. He was out for most of the season due to an ACL problem, and then, or no, it was an arm and back issue. And then he got knocked out like 4 games into his return with an ACL problem. So Tom Brady was able to carry a team very well all the way to the AFC Championship. He was actually able to beat the Denver Broncos on a spectacular comeback, which I did not expect to see once the Broncos got out to the kind of lead that they had. So number 7 is LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy is a great workhorse for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he didn't have as many touchdowns as Jamal Charles last season, but he had a lot more yardage, and I believe he had a lot more 20-plus yard carries. He had a lot more breakouts than Jamal Charles did, and I think this does a lot. This was because of the Philadelphia Eagles offensive ability and their coach Chip Kelly, which had them running the go-ahead plays like every down. It was just no huddle plays back and constantly, and I think that helped him with the breakout plays, and also with a great quarterback. He had a great quarterback to help him diversify or spread out the ground a bit. Number 6, AJ Green. This guy was on my fantasy team, but I had to trade for him to get onto my fantasy team. And I had to trade for him because I lost Julio Jones to an injury late in the year. But AJ Green pretty much performed every week. Every week he was out there. He did very well. Pretty much the premier wideout for the Bengals. Marvin Jones kind of took some touchdowns away from him that I was not happy about. I think AJ Green had a game where he had 0 touchdowns, and Marvin Jones had 3, which kind of hurt me a bit. Number 5 is the guy that I trade for to get AJ Green, and that would be Drew Brees. Drew Brees had a very quiet year, nothing spectacular. He got knocked out of the playoffs pretty early. But other than that, Drew Brees, the reason why Drew Brees is higher up than Tom Brady is because he had more touchdowns, a better touchdown to interception ratio, more yardage, and this is all because Tom Brady didn't have the team that Drew Brees had. But still, Drew Brees doesn't have that many options to pass to. So, and Jimmy Graham is a little bit higher up on the list, but he is the main reason why Drew Brees is always in the top 10, I believe. I mean, Drew Brees is a great quarterback, don't get me wrong, but without a threat like Jimmy Graham, like if Tom Brady had Gronkowski as long as Drew Brees had Jimmy Graham, you'd see Tom Brady with those type of numbers as well. Next up is Adrian Peterson. I am a huge fan of Adrian Peterson. This guy he's awesome off the field. He does a lot of charity. He does a lot of stuff for kids off the field. But on the field, man, this guy is insane. This guy has no fear. I've never seen a running back come back from an ACL, a major ACL damage, and run like this guy. This guy does not give up. And the great thing is that pretty much nobody else on his team are spectacularly great. I mean, there are a few wideouts. He's got Greg Jennings and Cordero Patterson now. But Adrian Peterson, and that's what makes Adrian Peterson's so amazing is because every opposing team knows that Adrian Peterson's going to get the ball, so they just load up the box. But yet every year, Adrian Peterson always has the best numbers for a running back. So props to Adrian Peterson for doing that every year. Sad he couldn't get any higher. If he had a better team, he could definitely get higher, but he wasn't able to hit that point. Calvin Johnson is number 3. Very huge wideout. Awesome wideout. Can just leap out of the air and grab anything you throw at him. Very impressive player. Super excited to watch him play whenever he does play. Definitely a top fantasy football player if you can get him in the first round. Number 2, Jimmy Graham. Now, this is a little hard for me to say, but Jimmy Graham is above Calvin Johnson because Jimmy Graham performs better than Calvin Johnson. Jimmy Graham is just as big as Calvin Johnson, but Jimmy Graham being a tight end, it makes him very unique in his position. There's only a handful of tight ends that can do what he does, and he was able to outperform Calvin Johnson last year in yardage and touchdowns. And so Jimmy Graham is definitely deserving a number spot in 2. Now, it's kind of obvious the number 1 player as pretty much the only player that hasn't been mentioned and who had the outstanding season last year, and that's Peyton Manning. Being able to break the touchdowns in a year or in one season was crazy, but the reason why Peyton Manning was able to do this is because of the threats that he had in the wideout position. Peyton Manning is an awesome player, but he wasn't able to achieve what he did with the Colts as he did. He wasn't able to achieve what he did with the Broncos with the Colts. I think it's kind of hard to say it that way. As a Denver Bronco, he was able to do a lot more than he was able to do as a Colt. Very sad that he wasn't able to win the Super Bowl. Hopefully next year. So that's the end of the video. Comment, let me know what you guys think. You can follow me on Twitter, MajorPain2587. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Share with your friends. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Thank you guys very much.